Next to the while loop, Python features another type of loop as well, the for loop. Have a look at its recipe. This can be read as, for each var, a variable, in sec, a sequence, execute the expressions. Make sense? Let's see how this actually works with an example. Remember about the fam list containing the height of your family? Here it is again, in the family.py script. Suppose that instead of a single printout of the entire list, like this, you want to print out each element in the list separately. You could do this by doing 4 print calls with correct subsetting operations. Instead of the repetitive and tedious approach, you should go with a for loop. Let's wipe the print calls and start a for loop. For height in fam, followed by a colon. This means that I want to execute some code for each height in the fam list. Height is an arbitrary name here. I could just as well call it h or something. Inside the for loop, on every iteration, I print out the value of height. When you run the script, Python encounters the for loop and evaluates the sec element, fam in this case. It sees that it's a list containing 4 elements. Then the actual iteration starts. In the first run, Python stores the first element, so the float 1.73, in the variable height. Next, the expression print height is executed, printing out 1.73. In the second iteration, Python stores the second value of fam in height, being 1.68 now, and prints out height again. This process continues until all heights in fam have been iterated over, and we end up with 4 separate printouts. Great! In this solution, you don't have access to the index of the elements you're iterating over. Say that now, together with printing out a height, you also want to display the index in the list, so that the printouts are converted to this. How should the for loop be built in this case? To achieve this, you can use enumerate. Let's update the for loop definition like this. Now, enumerate fam produces 2 values on each iteration, the index of the value and the value itself. Instead of a single variable height, you now write index, height. Now, on each iteration, index will contain the index and height will contain the float. This means that we can now also update the statement inside the for loop with a more complicated print call. Notice that I had to convert the floats to strings with str so that you can add everything together. The printouts are exactly what we wanted. Nice! The for loop doesn't only work with lists. We can also create a for loop that iterates over every character of a string, family for example, and stores it in C, one after the other. Inside the loop, C is capitalized and printed out. This time, 6 different printouts occur. That's enough on the for loop for now. In the next videos, I'll explain how you can use the for loop to iterate over other data structures that you learned about by now, such as dictionaries and pandas data frames.